You began very early in the book, I think it's like page 8, you cite St. Augustine from the Confessions. And and you summarize what Augustine
one of my
is saying.
favorite books, by the way.
Obviously one of the greatest, where he says, in effect, this is your summary: we are our memories, both individual and collective. We cannot function as humans without them, but that is also the eternal human burden, end quote. And then for your epigraph on the epilogue at the very end of the book, you cite W.B. Du Bois saying, quote, nations reel and stagger on their way. They make hideous mistakes. They commit frightful wrongs. They do great and beautiful things. And shall we not best guide humanity by telling the truth about all of this, so far as the truth is ascertainable? And so in my mind, it's a sort of, it's not an activist book, but it's certainly a book that is calling us to take the work of memory seriously. Is that fair?
Oh, it's absolutely fair. I framed the book in the beginning and framed it at the end as an act of historical memory by an institution and its employees. And I think in those two quotations are the ones I was using from Augustine. And by the way, for those who don't know, Augustine's Confessions has about a 40-page section on memory, which is, to me, one of the most important things ever written on human memory and even historical memory. He was less concerned with collective memory than he was with his own memory, and the fact that God knew his memory, that really had him worried. But then you get Du Bois at the end, who had at times bitter critique of Western civilization in the United States, but nevertheless gives that beautifully kind of hard-nosed, balanced conception of history, especially of nations, that can do great good and great evil. And watch out, Du Bois is saying, because we're all probably capable of both. And I was trying to say that's the case here too, because honestly, Lee, there was a lot of sentiment here. We did webinars with students, webinars with alumni, webinars with the community, webinars with descendants of Yale Black graduates, et cetera, et cetera. And I would say the first and last question in every webinar we did, almost every webinar we did, and then we did webinars with board members and so on, was this business of repair. What will Yale do about this? And my answer was always, I don't know. I don't know yet. The point of this was to do good history, the truth shown through time, a reasoned reconstruction of what we found.